Hello and welcome to Clout on CDNN. I'm your host, Wolf Sigma, live with a special investigative correspondent, James Buffett. We are interrupting our previous round-the-clock coverage of Joe Biden's shocking conversion to Russian Orthodoxy to bring a live view at what many have been calling the trial of the decade. As you will all remember, the famous and glamorous global micro-influencer and international menace, Joan Summers, sued her former and future podcast co-host, Matthew Lawson, over accusations that he leaked secrets of hers to TMZ, Us Weekly, Dumois, and Anna Oop, among many others, in exchange for financial payments, a trip to Disney's secret new Dubai location, and a variety of rare and exotic plants, and also the kind of hot sauce that you can only get at the farmer's market. Matthew Lawson has launched his own countersuit in return, claiming that Ms. Summers' accusations are not only baseless, but homophobic in nature, and contribute to the general climate of worldwide homophobia because it relies on the prejudiced assumption that all gay people have the phone number for the TMZ tip line in their contacts. Special correspondent James Buffett is in Los Angeles right now, reporting live from the Crypto.com courthouse with updates.
I'm going to start over. We're having some technical difficulties over here. Hello, Wolf. I'm standing outside the Crypto.com Los Angeles Courthouse Arena where Joan Summers and Matt Lawson are preparing to be examined by Judge Riley. A celebrity lawsuit always attracts attention. What has made this case take on a new level of spectacle are the two high-profile lawyers that each side has taken on for their counsel. Cerise Xerox is with the prosecution. They had previously represented the 9/11 hijackers, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Olivia Jade, and Pontius Pilate. Due to Cerise Xerox's long lifespan and seeming immortality, they've been rumored for decades to not be fully human. Some sources even call them the demiurge. Gary Krasner, the public representing the defense, is the rising star socialist lawyer who first became known to the public as a DSA-endorsed candidate for city prosecutor in Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., when he ran for office in both cities the same year to boost his chances of winning somewhere. Xerox allegedly reached out to Joan Summers personally and offered their services pro bono after Dumois posted about Matt retaining Krasner.
Yes, that is very interesting, James. And this unique legal representation is what has attracted a lot of attention from niche political factions across the right and left. Now, you'd think that Lawson and Krasner would be the obvious choices for the left wing as gay socialists, and of course, the pit crew Antifa, with their slogan, Be Gay, Do Crimes, has thrown their support behind Camp Lawson. But the neo-Bolsheviks and the E-Trot Thoughts both emerged from hiding to signal public support for Joan Summers, despite Cerise Xerox's documented history of working on all sides during the peace negotiations of World War I. However, in an unprecedented act of solidarity, GSAs across the country and the Democratic Socialists of America have combined their collective powers and merged into one unit, the DGSA, the Democratic Gay Straight Alliance, to pay for the inordinately high legal fees that Krasner is charging Lawson.
We've also received reports that the DGSA have been doing door-to-door canvassing as well as round-the-clock phone banking to attract public attention and support for Matt Lawson. Meanwhile, the Federation of Above-Ground Pool Owners, who last made a unified appearance at the Capitol on January 6, 2021, have also used their organizing capabilities to leave numerous Yelp reviews for unrelated businesses, broadcasting their belief in Lawson's innocence, along with very mean and grammatically incoherent comments underneath all of Jones' articles. The SJW Bushes have also aligned themselves with Matt Lawson, citing their love of prosecutors and their hatred for homophobia.
A radical center, an exclusive invite-only political party which requires a perfect score on the political compass test for entry, the dot right in the middle, have sided with Joan Summers, claiming that outlets such as DeuxMoi and TMZ exacerbate the differences between people and cause more political divides within our culture by exploiting conflicts for attention just so they can generate more advertising dollars.
Which, of course, is different from what we do here at CDNN.
Of course, James.
Also professing support for tolerance and rationality are a disparate group of people who claim to be time travelers from the year 2010, attendees of the Rally to Restore Sanity and or Fear, standing with signs outside the courthouse which read things like, "I respectfully disagree with your opinions, but I still value you as a person," and "somewhat irritated about political extremists." They're also taking signatures to register people to vote in the booth they set up outside the courthouse.
James, I am hearing live from our audience that your microphone is too quiet and that you need to turn that shit up.
Okay. That seems like that would, more than, oh wait, I know what happened.
Hello?
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm back. No, I think it's going to be very, very loud now. I was using the wrong microphone. That's great news. And that is, heads will roll.
What happens when you do the news live?
Heads will roll back at CDNN headquarters.
Live from the Crypto.com courthouse, Los Angeles arena.
Great.
Anyway, it is somewhat unclear how this voter registration effort translates into any material support for Ms. Summers, but elected officials have also weighed in on this trial. President Green M&M upset much of her base when the audio leaked of her arguing with her Vice President Elizabeth Warren about the case, saying she supports Joan Summers over Matt Lawson because, quote, "Joan is a sexy bitch just like me."
Quite a comment that the president has made, and obviously that could translate to some very real on-the-ground support for Ms. Summers. Additionally, throwing their name into the ring, disgraced 2020 Republican candidate Jake Ron Paul took some time off from his tour of the malls of America to counter his former political rival, Madam Green, and went on what many of his detractors called a hate-filled tirade about nasty and litigious clout-chasing women who don't understand that sometimes you just have to call TMZ.
Jack White, who some might remember came in last place in the 2020 presidential election, broke his media silence in a letter he wrote to Rolling Stone saying, "I hope Ms. Summers wins her case because what have gay people ever done to bring back real music to this country? I play all the instruments on my songs, and no gay guy has ever offered to help."
I have to say, Wolf, Jack White has a point there. As many viewers at home are surely aware, this trial has become more than just a trial. It's grown beyond itself into this pivotal event that reflects the ongoing political and social upheaval in this country. When you look at all the disparate groups staking their claim with either side, the resulting Frankenstein's monster-style epic battle mashup appears not unlike some such clash which might take place in one of our favorite Adventures and Game Infinity Wars movies. Perhaps the outcome will represent a North Star for the direction this divided nation is headed in. Or perhaps the entire affair will devolve into indiscriminate violence and bloodshed, like the Marvel Adventures movies do.
Very articulate, James.
Thank you.
Social media has been absolutely dominated by this story. The viral TikTok trend called the Matt Dispatch has teens dancing to the song Telephone by Lady Gaga while making limp wrist gestures and then holding their hand to their head like a phone. Matt Lawson has spoken out about this trend, calling it an example of extreme homophobia and further proof that he is in the right for this lawsuit.
Thank you for speaking on that, Wolf. Me and Lyle on Twitter, the debate is heated on both sides, with an online extremist group that claims to be fans of the judge, calling themselves the Riley Rats. Overwhelming the conversation, these so-called Riley Rats have flooded the mentions of any tweet referencing the trial with spam replies that typically read, "Judge Riley is iconic. They're going to slay this trial. Yes, rats, 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 rats." The Honorable Judge Riley has garnered a lot of attention themselves, frequently going live on Instagram and sharing behind-the-scenes information about what outfits Joan and Matt, as well as their lawyers, are wearing, and even going so far as to solicit bribes to influence the outcome.
Exactly, James. Judge Riley has openly said in many of their Instagram lives and even on this very network that people can influence the outcome of this trial by donating to the Iowa Abortion Access Fund or the Utah Abortion Fund and texting a screenshot of their donation to 609-285-3494.
That's right, Wolf, and I'd like to mention that when I asked Judge Riley last week on this channel how this open solicitation for bribes was not an outrageous breach in our legal system and a violation of the sanctity of our democracy, Judge Riley said to me, and I quote, "Fuck you and your boring questions. Your news network barely gets any ratings, and Anderson Cooper isn't even cute anymore." As a point of clarification, Anderson Cooper is not an anchor on this network. Don't call me on here again. Text screenshots of your bribes to 609-285-3494 or shut the fuck up. Hashtag rats, 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 rats.
Well, there you have it, James. That's about brought us up to speed, and just in time for the trial to start, the Honorable Judge Riley has just signaled for the national anthem to be performed. Let's go live on the scene and see what today's proceedings have in store. This has been Clout Fire. Wolf Sigma signing off.
James Buffett, over and out.
Mission accomplished. Clout Dynasty is back.
Judge Riley, I don't mean to start on such a sour note, but it would appear that the prosecution's attorney is not present for proceedings right now. I would say this is highly irregular, bordering on unprofessional. Do you know what's going on?
We're starting off on a really bad foot. We're starting off on a really bad foot right now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that it's not looking great.
Mm-hmm.
I usually expect people to be in my court seated on time, wig on, lace trimmed,
Well,
contour in place.
Riley, since we have some time at the start here, I promise I'm not trying to be a kiss ass, excuse my French, but my kids are watching at home and they are massive, massive Riley Rats. If you wouldn't mind just saying hi to my son, Shea Fidel, and my daughter, White Asada, they would certainly appreciate it.
You're going to have to go through Cash App for that one. It's 20
Riley.
each. It's 20 each for friends and family. Yeah, I'll do it after. Yeah.
Judge Riley, you're quite the rat yourself. Yeah, just share your Venmo info with me. We can work that out.
Yeah, in the chat.
Sure. Are we ready to begin here, or it's not really my place to commence court, I suppose.
Okay, well, once again, we're all present.
Mm-hmm.
All rise. Clout Court is now in session. Judge Riley is presiding and serving. Chat, Riley Rats, please be seated. Good afternoon, Pay Pigs and Patriots. We are calling in the case of Summers versus Lawson. Are both sides ready to serve the court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Team Summers is ready, Your Honor.
Will the chat please rise and put their hands over the hearts for the Pay Piggy pledge? You are the jury. You must swear now that you dedicate yourself to the truth and will not let any outside influences beside the bribes you give me sway the outcome of this trial. If you agree to this pledge, please drop a hashtag RileyRats in chat. Thank you. You make time for opening statements from the legal team of each party. We are going to cancers on it will be going first.
I'm sorry, Judge Riley. Could you just repeat the end of that? So sorry. We lost
The
you for a
team with
second.
cancers on it will be going first.
Thank you, Judge Riley, and I did not mean any disrespect by that. Thank you graciously, Your Honor. As for our opening statement, Your Honor, ladies, gentlemen, they, thems, femmes, femme-adjacent and or woman-aligned non-binary individuals, it/its folks, and neuroatypical bimbos of the jury, the prosecution would have you believe that my client is capable of, even guilty of, a crime so heinous as defamation. Folks, allow me to give voice to something that I'm sure everyone observing this trial is already thinking. A white woman accusing a gay man of doing defamation is going to be a big freaking yikes for me. The only defamation that Miss Summers is suffering can be attributed to the horrendous optics, all of which are of her own making, surrounding this entire affair. The fundamental facts of the events being detailed and litigated in these proceedings do not paint the plaintiff in a kindly light. Indeed, as the defense intends to prove today, Miss Summers herself has proven guilty of a crime much, much worse than defamation. That crime is acephobia. That crime is homophobia. Joan Summers is doing virulent homophobia to Matthew, and she's been doing it to him for many, many years. Mark my words, my comrades of the jury. That unchecked, problematic behavior ends with this trial. Today, we will invite Matthew himself up to the stand to testify in his own words to his innocence in the matter of this frivolous defamation charge. Also, we will have Miss Summers take the stand, where she will answer for her false accusations and be exposed as the unrepentant homophobe that she is. Finally, we will review several pre-recorded testimonials by relevant witnesses, including my dear epic leftist friend, the orange monster known as Gritty, which should put this whole matter to bed once and for all. The defense would like to conclude this opening statement with an honest plea to the viewers watching at home who see Miss Summers' grand accusation as the cynical farce that it is. Please, contribute to the Lost in Litigation Fund. As a leftist myself, it would violate my core values to exploit myself and extend any uncompensated labor toward Matthew's cause. And, well, let's face it, he can't afford me with his meager podcaster's salary. If you're able to make a donation, I'm sorry, Matt, I know this is hard for you. We're going to get through this. You shouldn't even have to be here. If you're able to make a donation, make sure to type !abortion in the Clout Court chat. If you screenshot proof of your donation and send it to Judge Riley's personal phone at 609-285-3494, along with a message indicating your support for Mr. Lawson, it could go a long way in determining the outcome of this trial. Thank you, comrades, and always remember, our day will come. The defense rests. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that. Thank you.
Well, now it's time to hear from the Joan Summers legal team, and I would like to point out that Ms. Summers has been on her phone appearing to take selfies, take calls, perhaps with a plug, perhaps with a boyfriend. I mean, it's hard to say.
Your Honor, as a point of information, this behavior does not surprise me. Thank you. And I'll be right back.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor, my client is valid. And also, I will not stoop so low as certain other legal professionals, or should I say professionals, might, and use my time to appeal to your fame in an obvious and desperate plea for preferential treatment. But it does, of course, go without saying that my client and I are both big fans of your work. My client has spent some time as a Riley rat on Twitter herself. But now it's time to address the matter at hand. My client, Joan Summers, relies on the foundation of her good reputation in order to maintain positive relationships with her various business partners, be invited to exclusive parties and nightclubs, receive access to celebrities for interviews, and grow her massive following on Twitter and Instagram. The public persona, which Ms. Summers has carefully curated through lies, rumors, and an extensive shadow network, is the result of years and years of hard work by a self-made woman. Ms. Summers started from nothing. All she had was a dream and an idea for non-binary testosterone, which is testosterone specifically formulated for non-binaries that gives its users pink hair and pointy ears. And if it weren't for her tenacity and the $10 million she won in seed funding on Shark Tank, Miss Summers would be nothing more than what she once was before her ascent to fame in 2015, a dog walker to the stars. She got herself where she is, and her place in Tinseltown hierarchy is absolutely dependent on what the public believes about her to be true. And as we all know, Hollywood is a fickle place. To paraphrase the Heidi Klum maxim, one day you're in, the next day you're out. Joan Summers supports her entire family with her earnings from the hair vitamin gummy SpawnCon that and she invests all of her profits of NBT back into the business. When she loses followers, she receives less clicks on her affiliate links, and she can't put groceries on the table. And even though none of her net worth is liquid, she is considered by the US government too high of an earner to receive any sort of social welfare. So when Miss Summers is not making money, she cannot eat for free. Matthew Lawson lied about her for tickets to Disneyland Dubai, and then he left her to starve. All of this to say that the libelous and frankly unfunny rumors that her podcast co-host Matthew Lawson has spread about her were a direct attack on Miss Summers' livelihood, maliciously done by Mr. Lawson in exchange for gifts paid by third-rate gossip outlets such as Dumois. What the jury may not know is that Mr. Lawson is flat broke. Although he makes over $20,000 a month from his podcast and the hush money he's received from Tim Cook, he spends approximately $22,000 per month on exotic plants, and that's before we even touch his dining expenses. Matthew Lawson,
Your Honor, this is inappropriate.
said,
Let's have this expunged from the record. That is not pertinent to the matter at hand. That is personal information associated with my client.
I don't care about your client. I'm eating it up.
You don't care, but you can't. You're not supposed to say that.
Matthew
I'm
Lawson
just here to
is
look good and get.
famously
I don't care about
said
any.
on his own podcast that he won't step foot in any restaurant that doesn't have at least a Michelin star rating. An interesting stance for a so-called socialist to have, isn't
Irrelevant.
When Mr. Lawson's bank account balance hits zero, which it does at least once a month, he does exactly as one would expect from a man with no scruples. He pulls out his phone, which is of course the latest iPhone model, and he calls up his pal Perez Hilton. He says things that Miss Summers shared with him in extreme confidence and makes up more details for dramatic effect. One particularly damning instance was when People magazine divulged that Joan Summers was not always a glamorous brunette, but in fact was born with a full head of blonde hair. This reveal caused my client to lose thousands of followers a day until she repaired the damage through a commercial partnership with Sugar Bear Hair. Finally, the idea that my client, Joan Summers, is in any way homophobic is absolutely ludicrous and is a clear ploy to distract from my client's initial purpose in this lawsuit. Miss Summers' support for the gay community is known and has been documented by all of the various outlets that chase after morsels of my client's life. My client has been a fixture in the Vanderpump Pride Parade for the past decade, something that simply would not happen if she had this bias against the gay community that Mr. Lawson alleges. Finally, I must ask the question, is it not valid to bully gay people when they deserve it? Is the gay community exempt from accountability? Is it impossible for a gay person to be annoying? Is it a hate crime if you love doing it? Thank you for your time, and I trust that the jury will side with the truth once all the facts are on the table.
Questioning. I'd like to give everyone an opportunity to sort of speak their own truth. And I'd say let's start with Mr. Lawson. Do you have anything to say for yourself before we move into the questioning?
Well, as many of you can probably tell, I don't feel safe right now to even be myself. I mean, look at where I'm at. Look at where I have to live my life now that Joan Summers has decided to put a smear campaign against me. She's not only threatened my livelihood and my existence, but just even my property. Like, I can't even enjoy the property that I own through the work that I have done on the podcast. You can see Joan has not even been attending half of the service. She keeps leaving. She's self-indulgent. She's selfish. She's only trying to serve her own needs and not that of the community. And the fact that she has made so I have to resort to living underground in a remote location that no one can find me in, even if you tried, because of the death threats I've been getting from the community.
It's okay. Take your time. Take your time.
I'm sorry. It's just so much. It's so hard to see the work that the gay community has done over the last few decades in American history, and to see it all wiped away, reversed. Time has gone back because of what Joan has done to my career and to people of my community. It's horrendous. It's not only homophobic. It's un-American. And I think as Americans, we need to stand for what we believe in. And I'm sorry. It's just, we've made so much progress, and it's gone. And she's mocking me now because she has nothing else to stand for.
Highly inappropriate, Miss Summers. Very immature.
She resort to childlike behavior.
Okay, order.
No, you know what? Sorry, actually, I don't have anything else to say.
Okay. Well, let's move on.
I think the jury's smart.
Excuse me, Mr. Lawson.
Objection, Riley. Do not object, my client. Sustained.
I'm the judge.
Sustained.
We are going to allow Miss Summers to tell us whether or not she is an un-American homophobe who wants to make all gay men live in bunkers.
I'm sorry. I just think that the fact of the matter is there is a gay man running around town to everyone I know. Okay, she showed up. And I say she in the homosexual way because it is a colloquial term.
There it is.
I am very in with the gay community. I am a fan of gay people. I employ gay people. I keep them as servants and maids in my own home. And the insinuation that I am somehow homophobic hurts my feelings, okay? This homosexual showed up to the GLAAD Awards sponsored by Raytheon and Tampax Pearl, and she told Andy Cohen that I was doing ketamine with the devil. I would never do ketamine with the devil. I don't even know the devil. I've never been to Aaron Carter's home. I have never even met Aaron Carter once in my life. And she gets out there to everyone at the GLAAD Awards. Okay, she told RuPaul. She told RuPaul's assistant. She told Michelle Visage. She told Michelle Visage's assistant. She told Michelle Visage's assistant's assistant. And she told the investor that was at the GLAAD Awards for RuPaul's new SoftBank-backed venture to drill for oil off the Saudi coast. And she told them,
Your Honor,
Your Honor, for testosterone-laced hairspray for women, that I am homophobic. And I just think that is hurting my business. It's hurting women in America. It's hurting feminism and the plight. I say plight with a capital P, plight of girl bosses everywhere. And I will not stand for it. I am here to clear my name, and I am once and for all coming to destroy you. I will fill your little bunker with rat poison. Will flush you out, you rat.
Your Honor, temporarily ignoring the overall air of complete hysteria and derangement, which was overwhelming during Miss Summer's speech. Excuse me. Ignoring that, I would like to request that any mention in Miss Summer's little tirade about any business holdings that my client may have regarding oil refineries located in the Middle East be expunged from the record. That is not pertinent to this case. That's not pertinent to the matter at hand. It is inappropriate, and that should not stand in a court of law. Thank you very much.
I have to agree. As a fellow investor in RuPaul's oil ventures, I have to agree that should be struck from the record. And I think that we can probably now... I think what we've learned today is that what's on trial is how America feels about women. How America feels about gays. That's what's on trial today. And in my heart, we are going to answer that question. Is everyone ready to move forward?
Very well put, Your Honor. The defense is ready.
I'm ready.
I call upon Joan Summers for cross-examination by Cerise Xerox and Gary Krasner, with Cerise going first.
Thank you for putting BIPOC individuals and also demi-urge people first. And, hello, Joan. And can I just say before we start that you look absolutely fantastic. It's an honor to share the Crypto.com Los Angeles Courthouse Arena with you.
Yes, I'm sorry for my disheveled appearance just now. I just got finished sucking my husband's dick by the pool, and it sometimes releases a pheromone into my bloodstream that makes me a little bit crazy. However, I am so happy to be here today, and I will conduct myself like a woman of God, like a woman of honor, like a girl boss, and I will answer every question with honesty and integrity.
Thank you, Miss Summers. So let's establish the facts. How important is your reputation to your career?
I'm sorry. My reputation means everything.
Okay, here it comes.
Here
Yeah.
she goes.
I'm sorry.
What is that reputation exactly? What are you known for to the public? What have they come to expect from you?
You know, that man over there, he will tell you a lot of things today, but my reputation is this. When nobody, and I mean nobody, not a single person wanted to campaign for LA City Council on the foundation that we absolutely should give children ketamine in our schools. I was there because I'm looking out for gay people in America. When World of Wonder Entertainment came into our classrooms and they said that Jinx Monsoon was not the rightful winner of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 7 All Winners Extravaganza, I said, not today. And I changed the laws of this country so that she was. Because I am a woman who stands by my word. I, too, am a woman with a pansexual, non-binary, transgender individual child of transgender, non-binary, demisexual experience. And when I wake up in the morning, I look at them and I say, you know what? Mommy's gonna fight for you today. You want to wear that Steven backpack from Steven Universe to class, and I don't care that you get bullied. Mommy will show up and she'll beat the bullies up for you.
Your Honor, as a point of clarification,
TMZ posts the video because I will still beat the children up for my son, my gay, non-binary, transsexual, demisexual, transgender child of transgender, demisexual experience. I will beat them up. And TMZ
Can I
can post
ask
the video,
why-
and this gay man can get in this courtroom and tell me I am a homophobe.
Thank you for
Can I
sharing
ask
that
why
with
you felt the
us.
need to interrupt a woman speaking about her experience?
well, Your Honor, thank you for
From the
giving a
heart.
platform
Thank you.
to
Thank
an
you, Judge
Irish American
Riley. Thank you,
individual.
Charlie.
Just as a point of clarification, Miss Summers' child does not identify as transgender or pansexual or any of the other identities that she has mentioned. She has, as a matter of fact, and I have this on good authority, assigned all those identities to her child in a last-minute scramble attempt to present herself as an individual who doesn't harbor repugnant homophobic views, which she indeed does. Thank you,
Your Honor, I would like this to be struck from the record. The identity of a child is not relevant, and Miss Summers is the only authority present that can speak to that identity. Anyway,
Your Honor, please restore that to the record.
Demisexual, non-binary child of transgender, demisexual, non-binary experience in the room with us. The fact that you would throw my kid under the bus, you little worm. I will kill you too. And I will also flush your house and the house of everyone you love with fucking rat poison. Don't you ever speak about my son.
You hear this behavior?
Your Honor, she's
I
been
would
she's
like
been
to
making
move
violent
on.
threats. She's been making violent threats every day of this trial so far. There has been no sort of repercussive action.
I would
What
like to
is
move
going
on to the
on?
next question without being interrupted by an Irish person with a ponytail.
What does the
So,
I in BIPOC
I
stand
think
for?
We have established that
Let's
your
move.
reputation.
Let's move to the next question.
Your reputation is very important to you, and your reputation is one of speaking truth to power. Now, how important are keeping secrets and obscuring your personal life to this reputation?
They are integral. Integral.
Yeah.
I fingered Britney Spears' assistant last week. That was between me and Britney Spears' assistant. That was not for the world. And do you know who
Now it
leaked
is.
those photos that I took with my finger up her butthole? That man across from us. Slandering me. Slandering my job. Slandering my reputation. And he laughs. Do you see? He laughs. He thinks it's funny to expose women. He thinks revenge porn is funny. Do you see that? Do you see the way he mocks women? And I'm here in this courtroom today supposed to expect that this is not a farce. This is a farce.
Your Honor, I would
Honor.
like his laughs to be documented in the record. Now, Ms. Summers, how much income after expenses do you generate from sponsored content and brand deals?
Were I to expose that particular number, there is a number of Chinese investors who currently have a lien on my property for about $1 billion, so I'm not quite at liberty to answer that question. I'm sorry.
Completely understandable. Now, what is your relationship with Mr. Matthew Lawson?
I would like to get into this courtroom and speak as a woman of truth today, but my heart is telling me to tell you all that I have never met that man in my life. I do not know him.
Your Honor,
I've
that
never
is
seen
plainly
him.
untrue.
That is not true. That is not true. And once again, you are interrupting a woman's soliloquy and a woman's right to express herself the way that she sees fit.
Okay.
Feelings are facts in this courtroom, Your Honor. I'm speaking
you.
from a place of feeling and
Yes,
facts.
Your Honor,
you.
is
They
it
are.
not accurate to say that Irish comes before woman on progressive stack in most circumstances?
Is it the truth or is it her truth? That's what we're really talking about today.
No, we're talking about the
And
truth.
a woman's truth belongs to her.
Okay.
In a
the defense
hypothetical
rests.
scenario in which you had met Mr. Matthew Lawson, would you say that you've ever shared personal details about yourself with Mr. Lawson? And when you share this information, do you instruct him to keep it a secret?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can talk about all of the joint fisting operations we have ran in both the Palm Springs Desert and Russian River. We could talk about that, but I don't talk about it because we don't talk about it because it's a secret. Do you see how that works,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Lawson? Do you see what it
I
feels
thought
like?
you
Do
never
you
met
like?
me in your life. I thought you never met me.
That's right, Mr.
Goodness
Lawson.
speaking.
That's right. Throw it right back at her.
Your Honor,
This is what the
please,
culture war has
18.
done to her brain. This is what happens when you listen to the woke left mob mentality.
Ms.
Just-
Summers, what was your reaction
extremist.
the first
Hmm.
time that you saw rumors about yourself being repeated in Dumois?
I cocked a gun. I loaded it with 3 bullets, and I decided to play Russian roulette with my little friend over there. I shot 2 through the front of his door, and the third may or may not have hit his dog. I'm not at liberty to say that because it's a secret.
And if it did happen, it would be self-defense. So
Your Honor, if there
It
are
was
three
self-defense.
bullets loaded
It
into
was
the gun,
self-defense of my
it is no
property.
longer Russian
This is
roulette, it is then
America.
Polish roulette, just as a point of clarification.
This is America.
Let's not do
and
identity
property-
politics in the court. Okay?
Thank you, thank you. In America, property is considered a citizen, and as a citizen with property, also, I have just decided to defend that property's rights. And so I, as a person who has had my now business spread on the internet, I have the right to defend myself.
yeah, would you say that the gossip mongering of yourself in the press has caused you emotional stress?
Yes, my daily Valium intake has gone from an entire prescription to an entire prescription, as well as the ketamine that was once prescribed exclusively for my transgender, non-binary, demisexual son of transgender, demisexual, non-binary experience. Ketamine, I won for him in city council, by the way, because I'm a woman of honor.
In addition to the ketamine costs, how costly overall has it been to repair the harm that was done to you emotionally after these rumors were spread about you?
I have not been able to walk into a Gelson's to buy my favorite juice made from the powdered bones of small animals and children's hopes and dreams without mockery and sneers. And I would say that robbing me of my morning artisanal juices is far greater than the hundreds of millions of dollars this man has robbed from me in business deals.
Now, I think the final thing that we need to address are these baseless accusations of homophobia. Ms. Summers, what is your stance on the gay community, and do you have any instances of gay allyship that you can demonstrate to the court?
Yes. My existence here today is an act of gay allyship. I mean, look at me. Look at me. Does anyone look like me here in this courtroom today? Is anyone giving it to the dolls the way that I'm giving it, Your Honor? I mean, do you see? Do you see what I have put on display for you? Do you see my gorgeous hair? Do you see my voluptuous breasts? I would say my very existence is gay allyship. I mean, they live for me. They see me walking down the street and they say, "Yes, queen, slay Hunty Boots' house." And you know what I say?
Your
In
Honor, people do
return,
not say that to Miss Summers.
once again, invalidating women's experiences.
What did I say?
I
What did
would say that also needs to be stricken from the record, Your Honor, or I will pull out funding for your daughter's upcoming prom.
My daughter's upcoming prom, for which the theme is first time slut, does not need your
Absolutely.
funding nor anyone else's. Okay? So we will proceed.
I just have one more question. Would you describe Mr. Matthew Lawson as sensitive? Is it possible that comments clearly intended to be jokes would be interpreted as personal insults by Mr. Lawson?
Absolutely. As someone who claims to be a gay man, you would think he would get my, as the homosexuals say, cockety caca sense of humor. And the fact that he does not, I think, speaks volumes here in this courtroom today.
Yeah. And finally, has Mr. Lawson ever canceled or rescheduled podcast recording sessions in order to visit Disneyland properties?
Not just that, let me tell you. This man canceled our most anticipated podcast episode of the last year to attend the IMAX premiere of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I know for a fact that at that premiere, he walked up to one Benedict Cumberbatch and said, "You are my favorite actor." He canceled the podcast to do just that.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. Those are all the questions that I have for today. I think this paints a really important picture. Your Honor, we rest our case.
You know, I believe it paints a very chaotic, complex, nuanced picture, just like every woman's life. And that said, I think we should continue to Gary Krasner for some further questioning of Ms. Summers.
Thank you, Your Honor. And before I move into my questioning, I would just like to mention that the court and the jury just had to ban the first user within the Clout Court chat making inappropriate comments. So you better behave. You better pay up. That's what this is about tonight. And with that being said, Ms. Summers, are you familiar with podcast personality and racial justice activist DeRay McKesson?
I'm not at liberty to answer that question today.
Okay. Moving right along, how would you describe your relationship with DeRay? Because we know you're friends.
I'm not allowed to answer that question today. Thank you.
Ms. Summers, if you're not allowed to answer that question, could you at least explain this photographic evidence of you with DeRay McKesson?
I've never met that man before in his life.
Okay, this is going
And
great.
for the record, the jacket isn't that puffy.
This is going great. Okay, Ms. Summers, this might be a good time to remind you that you swore an oath to honesty today on a copy of Richard Dawkins' The God Delusion. I don't know if you're interested in perjuring yourself any further, but I would like to let the record show that was reminded to Miss Summers at this point.
Noted.
Great. Do you admit to having been interviewed as a guest on Pod Save the People following the January 6th insurrection of 2021?
Your Honor, may I phone a friend at this time?
Your Honor, that's...
Absolutely. I'd also like for Mr. Lawson to remember that he can exercise the same lifeline at any time.
Your Honor, how many lifelines?
Hi, Becky. Where was I January 7th? Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you so much, babe. I know. Thank you. Okay. Love you too. Mwah. Okay, so that was my assistant, my actual assistant, who is also a woman, by the way. A gay woman. Yes, that's correct. And according to her, I was getting my nails done on the date that you speak of. So no, I was not a guest as you might say.
Miss Summers, in your conversation just now with Becky, was her name? I
Becky,
noticed.
yes,
I
thank you.
noticed you failed to indicate.
Hashtag Becky in the chat.
I noticed that, and let's not. That would be very inappropriate for
That-
anyone to say hashtag Becky in the chat. I would like to note that you did not mention a specific year for the January 7th that you were speaking of. So how can we be sure that the information that you just relayed to us is accurate at all? Furthermore, there is well documented, there is metadata which supports the fact that you were on DeRay McKesson's podcast, Pod Save the People, following the January 6th insurrection. And would you just be able to verify certain quotes that you made to me on that podcast? During that interview, did you refer to the Trump supporters who stormed the Capitol as, quote, some of the last true Americans who are taking a stand against all of the, quote, gender bullshit? And what did you mean by that?
I would like to ask again, just for everybody here, could you define what a woman is for me just very quickly, because you seem to be forgetting I am one, and under the laws of this beautiful, amazing, incredible country, I am entitled to say whatever, do whatever, and that my feelings are facts here in this courtroom today.
Ms.
in
Summers,
our Constitution.
Ms. Summers, I'm happy to respond to that. To me, the word woman is synonymous with the word doctor or the word scientist, or the word astrophysicist. I hope that answers your question.
We're
No,
not
it
going to
does
do
not.
any
Thank you.
performative feminism in the courtroom today.
Your Honor,
I'd
my
like to move
feminism is not
forward.
performative. I send $10 a month to
I would say what
Your
is
mother?
performative-
yes, to my mother, who is a woman.
What I would say is performative is your grasp of the legal profession, sir. But we can all have our opinions.
I'm sorry, is Miss
can't
Summers
we?
is Miss
You have
Summers
yours and I
questioning
have
me
mine.
now? This seems highly inappropriate. At least
Unprofessional behavior.
at the very
you?
least, an
What were you?
unconventional.
Thing.
Okay.
She's debasing
You on the
the
January
entire
6th?
foundation of this court.
Matt, it's okay. It's okay.
Where
okay.
were you on the January 6th
Me?
insurrection that you so speak?
Miss
I know-
Summers,
Where were you?
I know exactly where I was.
Sadly-
Excuse me. I know exactly where
you
I was.
do not have to answer that question, sir.
Excuse me.
But please do.
I will answer where I was on January 6th, 2021. I was with my friend Gritty. We were doing jail support at the Roundhouse in Philadelphia for counter-protesters.
Was
that
this
answer
a
your
women's
question?
prison? Yes or no?
That's so noble of you.
It's not. It's more
Did
of
you
a
get any
detainment
phone
center. It's not a
numbers?
prison.
Did you get any phone numbers at the counter protests?
Your Honor, I don't see how me
Did you
getting
pick
any
up
phone
any
numbers is
checks?
relevant.
Did you wear that shirt? Did you wear that shirt? I really want to know. Like, tell me about it.
It would seem that
No,
Miss Summers. It would seem that Miss Summers is referencing me and my dear friend Gritty's belief in the sexual and polyamorous liberation movement and making baseless accusations about the way that we engage in movement work. I find that completely
possible that Miss
inappropriate.
Summers is correct.
It is impossible that Miss Summers is correct. Can I please continue my questioning?
Please.
Please.
During the same interview with DeRay, is it true that the host bequeathed upon you a one-time use F-slur pass?
I would say that F-slur pass that you so speak of is not a one-time use. It is a lifetime use.
It was specifically, the record shows that it was specifically a one-time use F-slur pass. You use it and then you're done until you get another one.
That's so interesting. Maybe I didn't wear my readers when I read it. I read Lifetime.
From
I read
whom?
Lifetime on that pass.
From whom? Does a woman need permission to say slurs?
The easy answer to that
Is
would be a
this
gay
not
man such as DeRay
America?
McKesson
As
or Matthew Lawson.
Homophobia is rooted in misogyny. Let me speak to you this one more time. That feminism and homophobia are inextricably linked, as misogyny is the foundation of homophobia itself. I would say that women have a right to reclaim the F-slur and should do so at their leisure.
Is that an admission? It sounds like
said
an
I
admission
was-
to me.
Miss Summers, are you implying that
And
a
what if
woman...
it
We're done
was?
here.
Miss Summers, are you implying that any woman should be allowed to refer to her straight boyfriend using the F-slur?
Well, if he self-identifies as straight, I would say defer to the they-them pronouns as laid out in our Constitution, and then do a pronoun circle later that night in the bedroom before using the F-slur. But yes.
Okay, thanks. Um, moving on. Miss Summers, you are familiar with the far-right frog creature provocateur known as Groiper, correct?
Can you say that one more time?
Groiper, you know the frog, the far-right provocateur. Are you familiar?
Hmm. I've met a lot of my fans at meet and greets and at roundside table fireside chats. You would have to maybe show me a photo before I would,
Well,
be able to tell you I do not know this frog that you speak of.
sure. So there is a photo of the two
And
of you
so-
together in an intimate setting. Hopefully, this helps jog your memory. Um,
Oh yes, yes.
so maybe would it be
That was a
accurate to
beautiful
say?
night.
Okay, so you do remember Groiper.
Fabulous lover. Yes.
Okay, so
With a
lover.
dick that was about 10 inches.
My my next question was whether you're best friends, but clearly there's much more to it than that.
Would you say that women are supposed to be ashamed of our sexuality and our needs?
Absolutely not. I'm very against women being ashamed of their sexuality. That's actually pretty
So then
core to
why
my
are you
politics.
trying to shame me? Why would you shame me for having sex with a frog?
I'm not
I
shaming
think
you at
that
all for
that's
having
the
sex with a
basis
gr-
of this
well,
question.
Miss Summers, if you'll let me finish, I will get to my point. Has Groiper at any point during your friendship attempted to convert you to the Eastern Orthodox Church?
One night when we were laying in bed together, he did start reading me what I believed was poetry, but it might have been this Eastern Orthodox religion that you so speak of.
Mm-hmm. And are you familiar with the Eastern Orthodox Church's stances on homosexuality?
No, I don't believe in God. I'm sorry.
Okay, right. You did swear an oath on the God delusion. That is noted in the court records. Moving on, Miss Summers, what is your relationship with the vlogger Logan Paul?
Your Honor,
Your Honor,
may I ask
Yeah.
you legal advice?
don't answer
Your
that.
Honor, may I ask
Absolutely, that's
Your
what
Honor.
I'm here
advice
for.
before-
Your Honor, don't do it.
I'm here to support women.
Objection.
Would I?
No.
We're actually this might be a question.
We're
for my
doing the
lawyer.
Bechdel test right now.
Um,
Hold on.
Your Honor, were I to reveal intimate details about Mr. Paul here in this courtroom, would I be in any way legally held to what I admit about Mr. Paul and his girth?
This court is a court of law in perhaps the loosest sense. And I would
Noted.
say
That has been proven time and time again throughout these proceedings.
I would say this is a space in which women can speak their truth. That's what court should be. And I would say,
Yes.
know that you're safe here.
Yes.
And please proceed.
Thank you for reaffirming that. You're so sweet. I really love you. Thank you.
You are.
Fan.
You are.
Hashtag rat. So yes. Well, you see, I had actually met Mr. Paul at a meet and greet for my most recent book, Women, hashtag Women, the story about women from women by a woman. And he approached me and said, "Ma'am, I really like your lipstick. Is that Mac Twig?" And I said, "Actually, no, it's Mouthy." And he said, "Yes, my mother wears Mouthy." And I said, "Thank you." And so I took him back to the bar and we talked for a little bit about price fixing, crimes, money laundering, and his opinion on the Ukraine conflict. And afterwards, a few drinks in, a Cosmo really hits a girl who has gotten this skinny. Can you tell? He took me back to his apartment and proceeded to pull it out, at which point I decided that he was far too small for my liking, and so I left. So yes, I do know in a very loose sense this Mr. Paul.
Great, Miss Summers. Thank you for revealing a ton of completely irrelevant information. What I intended to ask about was, is it true that you gave Mr. Logan Paul, who you have mentioned is in fact not as girthy as some may believe. Did you give him the idea for going gay for March?
Yes, I actually said that he was in desperate need of a pivot. And I talk a lot about pivot in my book, Women, the Story of Women, by woman, for a woman.
I've read your book, Miss
Reading
Summers.
about women. Thank you. Thank you. Make sure to leave a comment on Goodreads. It really helps with the algorithm when people search for it. And so, as you can read in my book, now purchasable on Amazon and the Kindle store, we're all about an age of pivoting, really. And I said he needed a pivot. And so if he interpreted my advice that you can read in my book, now available on Amazon and the Kindle store, and the Mar-a-Lago gift shop, yes, that's correct. We've been branching out to select bookstores in Florida.
Your Honor, in
If
accordance
he
with Twitch
interpreted-
policies, can we please only send the Amazon affiliate link in the Clout chat? Just as a point of process.
Thank you. If he took my call to pivot as a coming out stance, then yes, I did give him that advice.
Okay, heard. Moving on. Miss Summers, is it true that you maintain a friendly relationship with Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown?
Yes, we like to go for long drives together.
And is it true that you aided Millie Bobby Brown in capturing and punishing her Stranger Things co-star Noah Schnapp when she found out that his character would become ambiguously queer in the most recent season of the hit Netflix show?
Define punish.
Miss Summers, can you prove that you and Miss Brown did not arrange for Mr. Noah Schnapp to be transported to the Marvel Cinematic Universe detainment and questioning facility located in Disneyland Guantanamo?
She knows what she did.
We did. We
she
did.
knows exactly
well,
what she did.
Millie had gotten to my car.
First name
after the
basis.
club,
Okay.
And this Mr. Schnapp had wandered in after her, believing that we were an Uber, and said that he would like a ride to Disney Guantanamo. And so, being a ally for the people, and believing this to be a small gay man who had just gotten into the back of my car, drunk and probably in danger, I did drive him to Disney Guantanamo, and I was allowed to escort him to the gate, which I thought was a fabulous time. They have just repaved the driveway, actually, and installed a nice pergola that you can park your car under with a nice bougainvillea and night blooming jasmine, just to really brighten up the Santa Ana sun. So yes, I did give Mr. Schnapp a ride, yes.
So it is your assertion here that upon delivering Mr. Schnapp to Disney Guantanamo, you were not under the impression that he would immediately be detained and questioned for the crime of queerbaiting?
No, Mr. Schnapp said that he needed the ride and that he had made an appointment there with his agent. And once again, let me tell you, I do drive a black Hummer, and oftentimes the small gay men of West Hollywood do believe that it is an Uber for them. And so what was I to do? Turn this man away? To possibly be violated on the street? To have his picture posted to the internet without his consent? Maybe even have his drink spiked? No, I was not in the mood to do that because I am an ally for gay people. So I did give him a ride. Yes.
Your Honor.
And it was 100% of his complete and willing volition.
Your Honor, ignoring the fantasy world logistics of driving a car from America to Guantanamo Bay, I would like to continue on with my questioning. Is it true that prior to this trial, you retained the services of your lawyer, Cerise Xerox, in an effort to sabotage and dismantle jail support efforts being organized by the Sith Abolitionist Caucus of the Disneyland Guantanamo YDSA? This was after Noah Schnapp had been detained.
Guantanamo has a DSA chapter?
Okay. Playing dumb. That's fine. Once again, you swore an oath earlier today.
Can you explain the logistics of that? Is it the hotel residents at Disney Guantanamo that have formed this DSA? Is it the hotel guards that have formed the DSA? You've really got me on a kick. I might have to log on to www.askjeeves.com to find out more about this when I get home.
Understood. Okay, moving on.
No, that was not an answer to my question.
No, understood.
Would also love to know some of these logistics and how can we join this group if we were interested?
Your Honor, I don't purport to be any kind of an expert on any YDSA chapter. I find them, I find social democrats of their ilk to be quite counter-revolutionary in nature and in their approach to collective struggle. I myself identify as a democratic socialist, which of course is very distinct from the social democratic strain of leftist politics. Anyway, moving on. Is it true that upon learning that Noah Schnapp had begun a hunger strike while in detainment, you and Miss Brown, using burner accounts, exchanged a volley of derisive messages regarding the young actor in a Discord channel which hosts a community of Stranger Things fans who identify and associate with the alt-right movement? That's a tough one.
Just another quick question. Just a quick question for my lawyer. Would we describe Doja Cat as canceled right now, or would we still put her in that uncancelable camp?
I think your lawyer's busy.
My lawyer is currently busy. That's okay.
Well,
Excuse me, managing a different case over there? Or?
I was coordinating bribes for my client. We're doing very well right now. But I would say that Doja Cat, as a woman, is not canceled.
Good. So, yes, in that particular Discord chat that you speak of, I was speaking to Doja Cat quite frequently about our favorite SpongeBob episodes. But I don't remember Mr. Snap. Was it Mr. Snap? I don't remember Mr. Snap coming up. No.
I see.
Excuse me, can you speak up? I'm so sorry.
I see. Your Honor and fellow sapiosexuals of the jury, it is not my intention to assert that any of these individuals, which we have proven are associated with Miss Summers, speak on her behalf when they espouse their reactionary and downright backwards views on homosexuality. However, it would be dangerously naive of us to presume that the company a woman keeps does not in any way reflect her character. Furthermore, I believe that we have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that, in many cases, Miss Summers herself made the conscious choice to participate in acts of homophobia. Indeed, in many of the events which we have outlined through this series of questioning, I believe it is clear that Miss Summers has often taken the lead in some of these more heinous perpetrations. Why, then, should we believe that her podcast co-host, Mr. Lawson, would be spared from such hateful vitriol and malice? The defense rests. Kill everyone now. Condone first-degree murder. Advocate cannibalism. Eat shit. Filth is my politics. Filth is my life. Thank you.
That was like so cute. You should be an actor or something.
The defense rests, and Miss Summers is still speaking.
The wrap up, a little out of left field, but I guess we'll take it for what it is. I would now like to give a man a very rare opportunity in this courtroom, one that he should not take lightly. And we are going to give Matthew Lawson, a man, the opportunity to speak.
A gay man,
Matthew.
that is.
I
It's not the same.
Not here. Not here.
If not here,
No,
Judge
opening-
Riley, then what is this
Excuse
even
me.
about?
Excuse me. We are now opening cross-examination by Cerise Xerox and Gary Krasner of Matthew Lawson. We are going to begin, Mr. Krasner.
Thank you, Judge Riley. Good evening, Mr. Lawson. I apologize that we even have to go through the trouble of entertaining this nonsense, and I'll try to keep it brief in the interest of minimizing your debt to me, but I suppose we should settle this matter of defamation. Mr. Lawson, or would you prefer Matthew?
Either is fine.
Okay. Mr. Matthew, what relationship do you have, if any, with the entity known as Anna Oop?
I'm not familiar. Can you describe them more vividly?
Sure, Mr. Lawson. I will remind you that we did practice this in our mock proceedings earlier. That's fine. Miss Anna Oop is a celebrity gossip and drama channel on YouTube. The character herself, Miss Anna Oop, has been rumored to be a non-corporeal entity who does not occupy a physical space. Can you confirm that this is true?
Yes, to my knowledge.
I see. So we can deduce that the entity known as Miss Oop is in fact an apparition of sorts who does not occupy physical space on Earth in the way that living organisms do. Is this correct?
Yeah, sure.
And wouldn't it follow, then, that this non-entity of sorts cannot be communicated with in any meaningful sense?
Possibly.
Could you answer in an affirmative for me, Mr. Lawson?
Possibly.
Thank you for repeating yourself.
Mhm.
So, Mr. Lawson, how would you even go about communicating with such a creature, let alone exchanging celebrity gossip with it?
I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to. I mean, there's these forces beyond our control that just take advantage of personalities and people like myself who have a lot of clout in this industry, and you know, they just throw things around. They just say whatever they want, and sometimes you get dragged into it, and that's what the mob does.
I see. Very well put, Mr. Lawson. Moving on. Mr. Lawson, what do you know about the Instagram account Dumois?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they just post things. They just say things. I don't know. They have lots of information about people that I think some people find interesting, but I don't know. I don't really read that kind of stuff. I like to get the news from real sources, nothing like what you see on social media.
I respect that. Like AP, for instance, Alternative Press, Vice
Yes.
News.
I know.
Credited sources.
Excuse me, Miss Summers.
I know
I'm
for
sorry,
a fact
excuse
this
me?
man used break room time to browse the shade room. He is lying, Your Honor. He's
I
lying.
don't even know what that is.
Miss Summers just openly admitting to running an extremely stringent security apparatus at Eating for Free Industries. That's fine. I guess we're just gonna gloss
Why
over
do you
that
think
too.
I'm here? Why do you think I'm here? This is what she does. She does it best. She manipulates and she causes psychological damage.
It's okay,
As a
Mr. Lawson.
known
We
Just
don't want to
like
get you worked up.
Highlight the part
Dr.
where
Xerox.
Matt said that Joan does it best. I'd like that part to be highlighted, but the rest to be struck from the record. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Double.
I agree.
The
I
Your
agree.
Honor, I-
Double best.
Your Honor, I
Is
accept.
that
I
what we were
accept.
talking about?
I accept that Joan Does It Best should be highlighted, but please also strike through Joan Does It Best.
Mm, okay.
The
It'll still be the only thing
jury
in the
has
record.
requested
We will
a
strike it through.
The jury has requested a can check.
I believe that is a
anyone-
vibe check requested from the
vibe
jury.
Check, vibe check. Okay, how's the vibe? My vibe is I think that Team Summers is going to win.
My vibe is very positive right now because I feel like I'm having a nice conversation with somebody who I've grown to call a friend, Mr. Matthew Lawson.
Yeah, and I feel like the vibe is really good between us, but there's these like external again these external powers that are just like manifesting. It's like bad vibes, it's cursed, it's an energy that I don't associate with.
That
Definitely.
energy
Much
that
like
you're
these
describing.
oops and these mois, I
The
can
divine
feel-
feminine, is that what you're describing, Mr. Lawson? The divine feminine as
If that's what
cursed?
they call themselves, if that's what they decide to call themselves, then so be it.
The vibe over here is women's rights and women's liberation and putting gay men in bunkers.
Wait, what? I think I think we need to replace our judge. I mean, they are very clearly exhibiting a slant towards one specific outcome of this trial.
I
Does
wonder
anybody
what could be
I don't
causing
feel.
that.
I do not feel the same way. I would like to keep the judge that we have.
Okay.
I feel that you questioning a woman's qualifications for this position is really, really troubling. And I want to hold space for myself and acknowledge how harmful that is. And with that, I would like us to proceed.
Thank you, Gazorax. I will be bringing that up in appeals. Mr. Lawson, I understand as you have laid it out, and we'll be passing up on the vibe check from Miss Summers. She has clearly indicated that her vibe for tonight is derangement, violence, open threats, all very
And
reprehensible things.
skinniness. Please add skinniness to the record. Please add skinniness,
Here
beauty,
she
and
brings her
glamour.
toxic body image standards
Matt,
to
Matt.
this court. It doesn't even.
I know. You're totally
I'm
right.
sorry.
You have every right to say it, but
Gay
unfortunately,
men
we
know
have to.
about women's bodies.
This transformer never could take me. Okay, you don't know
I'm
if
just
he's a
gonna let her
car
talk.
or
I'm
a
just gonna
plane.
let her talk. Just speak and
Yes,
lie
and you're
shit.
always gonna get it again and again.
Dig your own grave. It's what you've been doing this entire time.
Mhm.
Mr. Lawson, you have indicated that you are not very familiar with the Instagram platform known as Demois. Would you agree that it's safe to say that the celebrities which are featured and discussed on that Instagram page all qualify as A-listers in every meaningful sense of the word?
No, like, God,
Matt,
no.
Matt, no, yes.
Oh, sure. I mean, if that's, I don't know about these things. I'm just saying, I really, it's difficult.
Your
to
Honor.
determine
Thank you, Mr. Lawson.
what
We're
the
moving on.
truth is in this world of misinformation. It's hard to
This
determine anything.
client is being coached.
Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Lawson,
Coached to lie on the stand.
if you were
just
to-
like they lied to TMZ about my client Joan.
Your Honor.
we haven't gotten to
Your
the
Honor.
we haven't gotten to the
Come on,
TMZ
girl.
accusations
Come on,
yet.
girly. I know that you I know that you saw that, right? Like, do you see the toxic
Oh.
masculinity? I just want it
I
on the record. Thank you.
100% see it.
Thank
They're
you.
scheming against us just like they always do. And I'd like to move on with the questioning, and let's not give our clients any more advice verbally as they're speaking.
Thank you, Judge
Tonight is
Riley.
about the truth.
Thank you, Judge Riley, and to the rats watching at home. I hope that you could hope to slay as well as they are tonight. Mr. Lawson, if you were to assign an alphabetical ranking of celebrity to your podcast co-host Miss Summers, what would that ranking be?
Explain the question again.
If you were to assign an alphabetical ranking of celebrity, as in an A-lister, a B-lister, a C-lister, a D-lister, so on, how would you rank your podcast co-host Miss Summers?
I mean, what qualifies to be on the list? How do you even become a celebrity that would even start at F or above? I don't know what qualifications Joan would ever qualify for.
So a not list celebrity, perhaps. Z.
I mean, I think that's what it. Yeah, I mean, it's like the most times I hear Joan's names are when the mob is coming after me, and I don't think we put people like that on these kinds of lists.
People like what?
You wouldn't do that.
Women?
Your Honor,
I'm sorry,
Mr. Lawson
are you
was
talking
not
to me?
was not
Is it
implying.
your turn to ask me questions?
Your Honor, please let's not
What I'm
let's not
hearing-
entertain Dr. Xerox
What I'm hearing
and their
sounds like diminishing a
asinine
woman's
interruptions.
accomplishments.
So it would naturally follow that a platform like Demois would take no interest whatsoever in engaging in any gossip related to Miss Summers, considering we have agreed that she is a Z-list celebrity.
Yeah, I agree.
Following
That's
a similar thread of logic here, should we not expect that bona fide news outlets like TMZ and Us Weekly would have little business covering the antics and activities of one Joan Summers?
It'd be a waste of their time. It's a waste of mine right now, even just thinking about her as she stands near me.
And yet, Mr. Lawson, Miss Summers would have us believe that these outlets would take interest in gossip you could provide regarding Miss Summers. Would you agree that this claim is completely baseless?
Completely baseless. I have no need to talk to people like that. I fully thrive in a life that doesn't involve in the petty squabbles of, like you said, Z-list celebrities, if that's where Joan qualifies.
Thank you, Mr. Lawson. Now, before I turn Mr. Lawson over for questioning by that rabid dog calling themselves Cerise Xerox. Fuck your name. I would like for
a
us.
Dog?
I would like for us to get out.
A bitch?
I would like for us to get out.
Is a gendered slur being used upon me?
Your Honor, that is quite the leap of logic. Wouldn't you
non-binary
agree?
lawyer.
I did not specify the gender of the dog, and in fact, I was thinking of and referring to a non-binary dog, who's also rabid.
Could you let us know this non-binary dog's name?
Your Honor, I can't because I might get in trouble for specifying a non-binary style name.
Oh,
Is
interesting.
the non-binary dog in the room with us right now, Your Honor?
It's a figurative
I'd love to see
non-binary
it.
dog. It's a figurative non-binary dog, and its name is Rocket, which would be a conventional name for a non-binary human. It's also a conventional name for a dog of any gender. Now, before I turn Mr. Lawson over for questioning, excuse me. Okay.
I just would like to say I get one free pass to get a direct coaching session with my lawyer before this. Could you ask if I am a Z-list celebrity, as Mr. Lawson has described? Why, then, did TMZ cover his recent GoFundMe for his anal prolapse after a fisting accident?
Your Honor, that needs to immediately be struck from the record. That is not appropriate. That is not pertinent.
If I am a
You know
Z-lister,
you did that.
then why did TMZ dedicate 4 articles to your GoFundMe?
This is a
Mr. Lawson,
travesty.
Mr. Lawson,
A
please answer the
travesty.
question.
She has
Just
an
wanted to
army.
put that on the
She's
record. Thank you.
cultivated on those websites like 4chan, 8chan, she has them in droves attack me. That GoFundMe was not set up in my name. I did not approve that. I did nothing to do with that. That was completely from the mob that Joan has cultivated.
And Miss Summers, I would imagine you have a better idea of where that money went than Mr. Lawson ever could. I would also like the record to reflect that I have changed the name of my theoretical non-binary dog to Fido with an X instead of the O. Thank you to Twin Princess in chat for the suggestion. Now, before I turn Mr. Lawson over for questioning by Cerise Xerox, I would like for us to get out ahead of a certain topic which will no doubt be central in the plaintiff's asinine line of questioning. Mr. Lawson, would it be accurate to say that you identify as a Disney adult?
I mean, I have the top tier pass, I guess you would call it. It's like the most expensive one, but only for certain reasons. I get it to the international park, specifically the new Dubai one that I have visited recently. But like I said, it's just the best option for your buck. It's I don't know. It's, you have to do it. You know, it's like a deal. I don't know if it would
Absolutely
consider me a Disney
understand.
adult because of that, but you know, I frequent the park sometimes.
With that being said, would you say that it is your obligation, your duty, and indeed your birthright to explore the campuses of every Disney entertainment resort around the world as an international Disney head?
Yes.
And would this mission of Disney completionism naturally require you to visit certain Disney properties, which may or may not exist on illegally occupied lands, including lands which are actively being colonized? It's fine, Mr. Lawson. You're in a safe space now. It's just me and you.
No.
It's an interesting answer. It's not what we prepped. Finally, Mr. Lawson.
I would like a little acknowledgement at this time, as this is an inclusive space. If we could just start with a land acknowledgement.
Your Honor,
really
Your Honor,
appreciate
Gritty,
that. Thank
Your
you.
Honor, my friend Gritty already sent in a video testimonial which began with a land acknowledgement that has already been played. The land acknowledgement has already been performed. We all recognized it. Thank you. That is a
I would
settled
like to
matter.
Confirm for the record that Gritty's land acknowledgement is in the record already, but thank you, Miss Summers, for thinking inclusively and progressively.
Yeah, that's what she's doing. Finally, Mr. Lawson, I would like to briefly discuss a series of events which took place several weeks ago. Intelligence shows us that you were present and indeed directly involved in a military operation on the island of Ireland. It has been reported that you oversaw the launch of a short-range ballistic missile being fired from Disneyland Dublin and targeting Disneyland Belfast as well as Disneyland Londonderry. Now, Mr. Lawson, is it true that your participation in this operation was indeed motivated by the desire for a, quote, united Ireland?
I may have been there to support some individuals that might have needed my help and my clout to be there.
And Mr. Lawson, do you truly believe that, quote, our day will come? As gay men and as Irish individuals. The two of us.
Yes.
That'll be all, Your Honor. Matt, check my Venmo request when you get a chance, but no rush.
Understood.
And with that, we will move on to Cerise to begin questioning.
Your Honor, do I have
Mr.
permission to
Lawson.
get some water really quick?
Please go right ahead. Does anyone else need water?
need
Does
you
anyone else
here.
want to
Thanks, Judge Rice.
rudely interrupt these proceedings?
We don't need you here. Go ahead.
Everything
Yes,
is
and my
about
lawyer
men.
is comfortable.
Everything is about men. This whole courtroom has centered men.
I agree.
I want that on the record. Thank you.
I am
It's
about
on the record. It's on the record.
reset vibe. Mr. Lawson, how long have you lived in the Bay Area?
10 years.
10 years. And would you say that you're familiar with Silicon Valley?
I've been there a few times. I have some friends.
What kind of friends?
Movers, shakers, innovators, they call themselves sometimes.
What is the nature of this innovation? What are they innovating?
The state of America, really. We have a lot of work to do, and there are some people getting things done.
I see. What is the nature of your relationship with the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook?
We go to the same gym. That's all. I've seen him a few times. Said
Can
hello.
you explain the following picture of yourself with Tim Cook at Burning Man?
Yes. What about this photo?
Well, is it true that at Burning Man, after supplying Tim Cook with a dangerous amount of ayahuasca, that you managed to extract a confession from him about his plan for the next 10 years of Apple?
I may have procured some things for him. I hope this isn't a court case about drugs or the use of psychedelics, things that we know for a long time have been, really helpful for spirituality and for fulfillment of life. I mean,
Miss Summers, please.
I don't remember a lot of that time. I was transcending a lot with the people around me. So Tim Cook, I guess, was there. I don't really remember correctly.
So you didn't intentionally imbibe Tim Cook with drugs in order to secure a confession from him about the next 10 years of Apple products so that you could game the stock market. What do you know about a future Apple product that will harness user biometrics to pinpoint the exact date of its owner's time of death, which will then tie into various Apple Health products to stave off debt for Apple customers?
I haven't heard of such technology, but I think if it was to be something that was made by Apple, maybe I would be interested in it. I don't know. Doesn't sound like anything bad per se, but I know nothing about this officially.
Your Honor, I can produce here a number of letters as well as an NDA that Matthew Lawson later signed proving that he extracted this confession from Tim Cook about an upcoming Eternal Health product line under dubious circumstances and then used his knowledge of this product line in order to blackmail the aforementioned Apple CEO, who, let the record state, is also an ex-boyfriend of Matthew Lawson's.
Excuse me?
Your Honor, before we follow this absolutely ridiculous and irrelevant line of reasoning, I would like the record to show that Clout Chat has requested a British accent from one of the individuals present here, in the style of Love Island.
I've got it, love. I've got it. We're good. We're all good. We're all good.
We get like an
We're
Ekin-Su, maybe.
You
We
know
can get a
what
Jax.
they say? 2 weeks on the island is like 10 years in real life. Anyway,
I got mugged off by this guy.
Damning evidence on its own. Evidence that Matthew Lawson makes use of privileged information for his own personal gain.
Lawson, I told you to be prepared for this.
I'm sorry, I can't understand what anyone's
sitting before me has done this more than once. Mr. Lawson, have you ever been to the state of Wyoming?
What is she saying? I can't understand.
What?
What
is who?
What?
What is who?
Lawson,
What is
no.
What is who saying?
Wyoming? You don't know her?
Your Honor, I'd like to request that Matthew Lawson be punished for this moment of misgendering in court.
Your Honor,
There are no genders in. There's no genders in the court. There's no genders on the island. I told you that when we got here. There's no genders here. There's no pronouns. We are not doing that.
I thought this was women versus men. Isn't that the whole reason we're here?
This is us versus you, babe. This is people who've gotten bribes and people who haven't, and you
I thought we were.
Oh my God. I can't see who did it. Hold on.
I'm so sick of
I'm
fucking
so
guys.
I can't.
Thank you.
So
Thank you to whoever just redeemed the sound alert going off right now on stream. It was perfect timing. Maybe this is the time for a reset. Oh my fucking God, this is so loud. Cerise, why do you make these the way that you make these? You can't hear anything else on stream right now.
Not my problem.
Thank you for the remix of Oh Danny Boy.
Alright, so
women supporting women.
Mr. Lawson, have you ever been to the state of Wyoming?
Yeah, once or twice. I like to get back with nature sometimes and connect. Been there a few times.
Okay, and what is your opinion on fracking?
I don't know. I've invested some money into fracking industries. I've been told by my Silicon Valley friends, like I've said, that it's a worthy investment. I don't really know much more than that, other than the name, really, or the companies that do whatever that is.
Interesting. Can you share with us the story behind this picture of yourself hiding from the paparazzi with RuPaul, Kanye West, and Jeffree Star?
Oh,
Your Honor, I would like to preemptively have this photo struck from the record, but I would like to allow Mr. Lawson to respond.
I would like to have this video printed and hung up on my wall.
Your Honor, it is not a video.
Can someone make that happen?
so I can explain what happened here. Okay, it looks crazy. It looks preposterous. I mean, it almost looks photoshopped, but I could tell you that it actually isn't. But it's so much better than you think it is. I mean, so yeah, of course, in Wyoming, I have a friend who has a few acres of land, and we get together with those Silicon Valley friends and some people from. I think you may have heard of Bohemian Grove. It's a place up north. It's just this like little place.
No.
But maybe those people
Steer away.
I mean,
Steer
sometimes
away.
they go, sometimes they come, sometimes they go. But anyway, yeah, we like to get connect with nature, the ayahuasca that I like to try every once in a while. In the Bay Area, you get used to doing certain things you're not used to. And yeah, there's my friend has this little place, and we do these kind of little like experiments where you connect and you grow and you like I don't know, just get close to down to earth with the people around you. And some of them are celebrities. You can see there's a few here that I mean, I don't need to say names, you know who they are, but I know them. And yeah, we just like to do some ayahuasca together. We like to give massages. We like to do like tantric rituals, things like that. I mean, I can't really get into too much detail because we like to keep it private. This photo was taken. I don't know who published it or how you got a hold of it whatsoever. But yeah, it's just getting close, just getting intimate. It's nothing more than that. I think it's very innocent behavior, honestly, and it's in an unincorporated part of Wyoming where none of the laws really matter. So I don't understand why we're talking.
Mr. Lawson, can you clarify for the court? Does every man in this photo identify as gay?
I'm not at liberty
Be
to
very
speak to that.
careful. Thank you. Judge Riley, out of respect for the Bush family who recently suffered the loss of their patriarch, I would like to have any mention of Bohemian Grove struck from the record. Thank you.
As a regular attendee, I agree. We will strike it from the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you for understanding.
So I can see that the jury has redeemed a soy face from the participants of this court, as well as a music break, which I don't know how we have that in there, but we could take like
I do not believe
no breaks.
that is unprecedented in Clout Court. But we will do a soy face.
You can do a soy face.
It's unprecedented on the Clout Dynasty stream. This has never happened. This has never happened before.
So, and
I'm sorry, my extensive plastic surgery actually prohibits that sort of movement with my face, so I'm gonna
completely understandable.
Thank you.
Completely understandable. Also, let the record show that Steven Does a Rap has been redeemed for 4,000 points. But before we get into that, I have more questions for Mr. Lawson. The first is, how would you describe your relationship to the House of Mouse?
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar.
Mickey Mouse? Disneyland? Disney World? Walt Disney?
Like I said, I have the highest tier, the most expensive pass to Disneyland, but it's because it's a good deal. You get discounts on food, parking, you get to go free on your birthday. I just dabble. I go where, it's fun to go to Disneyland. It's just something, I'm not that deep of a fan. I don't want to be associated with people like that.
So you don't have any explanations for these photos of yourself at Disneyland Dubai, Disneyland Tel Aviv, and most recently at Disneyland Kiev?
Hold on.
Like I said,
Your Honor, we're having trouble locating the photographic evidence of Disneyland Kiev. I'm not sure.
Well, it's there. I submitted my photos to the court.
I expect professionalism. I expect it to be ready when it needs to be ready.
Your Honor, I don't think.
There's no
Hold on.
to discuss, then I don't know why I'm here.
Yes, slay, girl boss.
Okay. Well, if we have to move on, it's okay. We have other evidence. Mr. Lawson, do you currently communicate information, or have you ever communicated information with state intelligence networks in exchange for vacations to secret Disneyland locales in regime change hotspots?
No, I would never do that. I am very much an American. I'm a proud individual of this country, and I would never risk national security for anybody, regardless as if they invite me to their events at these various Disneyland locations.
I would like to present to the court another photo of Matthew Lawson with known CIA asset, Elon Musk, moments after Elon invited him to be the first guest at Disneyland Mars. Now, this is merely conjecture, but can we not logically assume that someone would need to share privileged information in order to receive such an invite? Would someone willing to leak state secrets to intelligence agencies be above doing the same thing to his close friends at the tabloids? I'll let the jury decide. Finally, my client and I feel that the evidence that we have presented to the court paint an accurate image of Matthew Lawson, an image of someone ruthless and hungry for fame and notoriety. Someone who will stop at nothing in order to be invited to every Disney location. Someone who puts his ownership of plants above his respect for his friend's privacy.
How dare you? How dare you? I preserve the many plants I own through sources that I will not disclose because of the integrity of the business itself. I do it so I can maintain and keep the rarities of the world and the experiences. They're just experiences that you'll never have. And I think it's ridiculous that you're falling into the narrative that Joan has propagated about me. Again, this homophobia is just unrelenting.
Agreed. Judge Riley, you seem confused.
I am slightly confused about where we are at in the proceeding and what has just rolled out before me.
Okay, well, if you knew how to do your job, and I believe that you do, I trust you, I'm a Riley rat myself, you would know that this is the ending portion of the court, and it's time to introduce witness statements before we open the jury to begin voting for the winner.
Well, do we have witnesses present?
We have 4 witness statements.
Okay, well, let's begin.
I personally don't have any preference on whose statement is reviewed first. Dr.
I'd like the
Xerox.
ones that are
would
in
not be
favor.
relevant.
I'd like the ones that are in favor of my client to go first, please.
You know what,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Xerox, that's fine. I
fine.
will settle for that. And in my role as defense attorney, and also I guess administrator of the proceedings of the court, I will do as you wish. Here's our first witness statement.
Are you suggesting a woman should have to do the work for you?
Judge Riley, please.
Good evening, ladies and they-thems of the court and jury. My name is Austin Piss Vortex. That's first name Piss Vortex, last name Austin. Today I'm here in the trial of the Deep State v. Eating for Free. Recently I have been re-educated, so unfortunately I no longer believe that it is possible for a woman to be wrong. So for that reason I'm going to have to side against Matt and say that yes, leaking valuable trade secrets to the press is in fact grounds for a clout damages lawsuit. But what I'm really here for today is I'd like to take my time on the stand to center my voice in this discussion and announce that I am filing a formal lawsuit against Steven for creating the Sonic inflation rap, specifically the line, "I want to sexually be a balloon." The court date is currently set for September 11th, 2022. I trust you will all be there because I will be barricading myself inside of the courtroom and killing myself with this shotgun if my demands are not met by the end of the night.
Very interesting. I would like to respond to that first, if I may. Now this
Go ahead.
individual.
What could you possibly have to say?
This individual identifying himself as Piss Vortex, last name Austin. As you can see with this clear evidence, was firmly in Camp Lawson prior to recent re-education. And honestly, I'm all too familiar with clandestine agents from the CIA and the FBI who embed themselves in leftist movements. and start to de-radicalize. For example, my friend Gritty, who will be presenting testimony in a little bit, is frequently encountering wreckers and counter-revolutionaries in his movement work, people who no one can vouch for, always attempting to de-escalate militant actions, asking my dear friend Gritty, why are you trying to get everyone arrested? And where do you keep getting all these guns from? And what does your dad do for work? They, thems of the jury, these types of people, the same types whispering in the ears of well-meaning folks with an X, like Mr. Austin, are malicious actors who are out to destroy our movement of democratic gay socialism and polyamorous liberation. As for the comments, which I must assume are in regard to the famous, though recently disappeared, Stephen DeLucre, well, I mean, beyond the repugnant air of kink negativity present in Mr. Austin's comments, which we should unambiguously disavow and denounce, the fact that he is seemingly unaware that Mr. DeLucre has been missing for over a year now reflects very poorly on the overall mental state of folks, again with an X, in Summers Camp. Judge Riley, I would respectfully request that this testimonial be removed from the evidence pool and virtually burned to generate Ethereum. Furthermore,
all that Austin said
I'm not
was
finished.
that he supports women. What's wrong with that?
Oh my God. Steven, I just remembered I ran into you at Nancy Pelosi's inauguration.
Your Honor,
at the
Your Honor,
Kennedy Center.
this must be
Honors
struck.
for
This must be
Women's
struck from the
Rights
record
last
immediately.
year. We sat in the Dianne Feinstein section, right next to
That's incorrect.
the Pod Save America host.
Let the record show I was in the AOC leftist section.
I've been looking at you this whole court session, and I just remembered that we had ran into each other, and you gave me this very impassioned speech about how the establishment was going to pull us through the loss of abortion access in this country.
Your Honor.
And that donating to Nancy Pelosi's abortion fund was actually the most radical thing that an American can do today. I just, that is so crazy. I kept looking at you like, I know this person, this non-binary dog owner, and it's all coming to me now. I'm so sorry if like I forgot your name and that made you feel really badly. I'm open for you to bill my therapist later if you need to get some sessions in about this. But,
Character assassination.
So nice to see you.
That's
so
right.
nice
That
to
is right,
see
Mr.
you.
Lawson. And
This
just
is what
I'm.
she does best, like I said, like the devil themselves.
It's what Joan does best. The devil that she doesn't know, that she never did ketamine with. Your Honor. Your Honor,
Yep.
there is
Steven,
a well.
Steven, I have a question for you.
Sure.
For you.
I guess I can't respond. Okay.
Have you ever tweeted that Nancy Pelosi was a shady queen, the queen of shade, and that she was slaying the House down?
Your
That she
Honor.
was slaying Congress down boots.
Your Honor, it is unbecoming of a person of your presence and your stature and your authority in this court of law to use functions on Twitter such as advanced search and do term searches prior to 2016 when everybody became leftist. Any comments I made at that time no longer reflect my political leanings or my political stances. And furthermore, in response to Ms. Summers' comments, there is a well-documented history of me and Gritty advocating for direct militant action. When we took to the streets as soon as Roe v. Wade was overturned, and we immediately started reaching for the service weapons of every officer that we saw. We started arming our comrades. We ignored people asking us, where are all these
Your
weapons
Honor, this
coming
is
from?
irrelevant.
Excuse me.
This is,
Excuse me.
The legal team for Matt Lawson once again doing performative feminism when we are supposed to be hearing witness statements, and I don't even know if I believe that
Your
Gary
Honor,
Krasner knows this Gritty character.
me and Gritty are very, very good friends. Your Honor, would you like me to get out my black block and decorate myself in my armor that I take to the streets? Would that prove it to you that I'm not some fucking tepid
Please,
liberal?
Can you speak to the
That'd be
second?
kind of a serve.
The Lin-Manuel Miranda face was redeemed in the chat, and then I suggest that we move on to the next witness statement.
Let's put a
let's
point on this with
proceed.
the Lin-Manuel Miranda face. Anybody who knows what to do. John, I understand your plastic surgery may prevent this from being possible. It's like that, I think.
Thank you for finally believing women, Mr. Gary.
All right, moving on. And since Gritty's name has been mentioned, I think now is as good a time as ever to move on to his testimony. He submitted this to the court while he is away on business with his father. Hey everybody, this is Gritty. wish I could have made it to court today. Unfortunately, I am tagging along on a business trip with my father. Can't really get into details about his line of work, but suffice it to say, he and I are currently scoring big W's in South America, specifically in Bolivia at the moment, liberating lithium mines from control of tyrannical dictators. Just wanted to call in to say, Joan Summers, she has never been a part of this movement. She's a wrecker, she's a saboteur. Most importantly, she's not a leftist. That's all that needs to be said on that. If you think there's any room for debate on this issue, block me on social, don't talk to me, don't come to the DGSA meetings. Thanks, bye. I mean, what else needs to be said on that? I mean, someone should say something, probably.
Did you
I'd
fuck
like
him?
to
I've
point
asked
out
you
that
already.
this character looks very sunburnt, and I'm not sure if
Fuck
we
you.
can trust this testimony of someone who barely knows how to use sunscreen. They say that they're in South America. Why haven't they applied some sunblock?
Your Honor, let the record show that Gritty has Irish American skin.
Oh, that explains the orange hair.
I don't see.
I see the family resemblance, Gary.
Ooh.
We're comrades, not family members. It's a different kind of family, Miss Summers.
Ooh.
Is this the gay son that you so willingly weaponized earlier in the courtroom proceedings?
I don't remember doing that, Your Honor. Could we review the transcript of? Okay.
No, short answer, no.
I'm hearing from the chat that Gritty can use black block but not sunblock, and I would like to concur that I just don't think that we can trust any testimony from such an individual who can't even make the simplest, most logical decisions for themselves, such as applying sunscreen before they leave the house.
Your Honor, the last thing I will say on this matter is that it's probably not sunburn, it's probably the lighting. Thank you.
Mm.
Anyway,
With that,
Do you have any further
let's proceed
testimony?
to the next witness statement.
I believe
Ideally
we
one
have-
from a human person.
well, we have an anonymous person who is theoretically most likely a human. I will play that testimony now.
Hello.
Oh fuck.
I have requested Judge Riley and the court today that I remain anonymous in order to protect my assets and my prolific
Oops.
career, which is why I have chosen to wear a disguise today. About a week ago, I had flown to the United Arab Emirates to go to Disney World Dubai. You might ask how I have gotten access to such a
Your Honor, let the record show that Disney World Dubai is distinct from Disneyland Dubai. Thank you.
top secret and exclusive location. Well, as the owner of an Olympic champion dressage horse, Princess Raytheon, I have connections within the Middle East. One being Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, who pulled some strings for me after one of my beloved horses, Mitt Romney's right nutsack, passed away. This was a tragic accident. After attempting to get him to do the woe, his ankle snapped, and we had no choice but to put him down. I'm sorry, excuse me.
Interesting they decided to keep this portion in the testimonial
Okay.
video.
My goal in going to Disney World Dubai was to spread Mitt Romney's right nutsack's ashes across the palm tree gardens of Little Abu Dhabi. After watching a cast member vacuum up my beloved equine's remains, I decided to go on some rides. I witnessed Matthew Lawson ride both the Tower of Fracking and the Ferrari Portofino bumper cars. I remember the bumper cars specifically because I still have a twinge in my neck from when Mr. Lawson hit me and yelled, "Vroom vroom, bitches know they can't catch me," which I assume is a song I would not know, as I only listen to Broadway musicals and brown noise. I also witnessed him at the Lockheed Martin Dark Ride, obtain several photographs, which he cut in line for, and buy some Funko Pops at the gift shop. He also ate quail legs at the table next to mine at the Be Our Guest restaurant, where he told Belle, "I got this all for free thanks to a heifer named Joan Summers," and then proceeded to eat. For free. Now, as a member of a protected class, I would just like to say the behavior that I witnessed was disgraceful, both in light of what happened and because, as a Disney guest, you should be respectful of the sacred spaces you are roaming. These are hallowed halls, and I condemn thee, sir. May the mouse have mercy on your soul, Mr. Lawson. Good day.
Now, Your Honor, I'm not sure there's any precedent for this, but I have decided just now that I'm of the belief that any testimony delivered by an anonymous individual should automatically be expunged from the record of the court. Just to engage with this for a moment, though.
Perfect sense that Gary Krasner wouldn't understand why someone might want to protect their identity, since Gary Krasner does not belong to any marginalized communities and has no understanding of what it, means to feel unsafe in the world.
Dr. Xerox, since you're making a personal ad hominem attack, would you like to speak to the union busting efforts you participated in recently at Mina's World on 52nd Street in West Philly?
Yes, I
you would?
did that on I did that on purpose in order to take over the cafe and start my own leftist cafe that would be funded by the cryptocurrency that I have created myself. It's called Banana Coin, and I'm going to be using this to fund my own direct-to-consumer startup business venture that will be selling individually packaged bananas at the low price of $10 for 7 bananas, and each banana will become ripe on a given day of the week. So I was in the right for union busting this cafe, which wasn't doing anything innovative or interesting, but I also don't see how that is relevant to this extremely compelling witness testimony that we have heard today.
Gritty told me about you, so I'm not surprised about what I just heard. I do just, as I mentioned, I would like for this testimony to be completely expunged from the record, but I would like to engage with it just for a moment. This individual is claiming that they are among a protected group, indeed a marginalized group, the Disney adults. Now, within their own logic, they also assert that Mr. Matthew Lawson is as well a Disney adult. So, Your Honor, and ladies, they, thems, non-binary folks, and fae-fairs of the jury, I don't understand how in any way this logic of oppression or identity politics comes out to any meaningful assertions about Mr. Lawson's guilt or innocence. Thank you, that's all.
Are you done?
Oh my god.
I just said that's all. Yeah, I'm done.
Oh my god, Judge, I have breaking news. I have to tell you, girl to girl. Like, this is the
Please.
craziest thing I've ever read. Oh my god. So I'm on TMZ, and they just published a story that apparently Gary Krasner's non-binary dog shit on the sidewalk outside of the courthouse while Gigi Gorgeous Getty was
Wow.
cutting the ribbon for the new Froyo across the street. And the shit was in the photograph that they published in LA Weekly.
Fake news.
And now they're calling
Your Honor, that's not
Gorgeous
entirely
Getty
accurate.
shitty.
That's not entirely accurate. My dog
Oh
Fido with an
my
X took a
God.
shit in the local
Is
bodega
this
on the corner of my block where I get a chopped cheese and a Philly cheesesteak. Thank you.
Oh my god, Lisa Vanderpump just tweeted #shitty. Oh my god, this is so good. Oh my god, it's like
Things are
going viral.
cute.
Your Honor, I have some business to take care of
Wow.
on my phone very briefly.
You should like probably call somebody. That's like a really big deal.
Yeah.
As always,
Leave it
lawyers
to a
are
man to
like
not know how to raise a non-binary
Gritty.
poodle.
Gritty, shut it the fuck down right now. I don't care what you have to do. I don't care what your dad has to do. Whatever. This is fucking CIA superpowers. Get that shit shut the fuck down. We can't sustain this right now. You understand? Marching orders.
I, like,
Marching
feel-
orders, you orange motherfucker.
I feel
I feel
unsafe.
like bad. I'm sorry if that like made you feel bad. Like I just realized that could be construed as bullying. Like I'm bullying you, and I'm really sorry. So, like,
I don't even.
woman to man. Like I really feel for you in this moment. I'm sure that it must not feel good to be talked about in TMZ. I also know that feeling really well. It's why we're here today. So
Yeah.
You don't, Miss Summers.
I like if you ever want to have anyone to talk to, My hotel's like down the street, so
That's so
Your Honor.
magnanimous
We can
of you,
talk
Miss
later.
Summers.
yeah.
Sounds like you're getting
I
a once in
know.
a lifetime honor, or not what you're
Mhm.
objecting to.
Miss Summers, ignoring the insanity of your most recent tirade, I will be in touch with you after court proceedings. Thank you.
Do we
We'll
have
all be in
any
touch.
additional witness testimonies? Because right now it seems like the testimonies are pretty stacked in my client's favor.
Let's hear it. Is there anything left?
We do have one more from a certain producer of a certain culture podcast.
Ah.
Is it recording? Okay. Hi, I'm Ashlyn, and I believe the jury will recognize me as the producer of Eating for Free. I generally don't like to put myself in a position to be seen as picking favorites for my employees, and I do not, in fact, have a favorite. I hate everyone equally, but for the sake of justice, I will be relaying the facts as they are to my knowledge. I have witnessed Joan Summers, aka Laura Croft Barbie, on many occasions, belittling the defendant Matthew Lawson, aka underscore Matthew Lawson, for being gay. As I recall, on one occasion, when we were trying to record a segment together, I was struggling to maintain my professional composure because Joan kept making ad hominem attacks on Matt, completely out of nowhere. I find that I am oft silenced as a producer for the show. I suspect for the crime of being a black woman, namely, but I have been advised by my legal counsel not to go into further detail on that, as that will be its own lawsuit. Anyway, when Matt was attempting to share an anecdote about his visit to Jeffree Star's Wyoming ranch, Joan said dismissively to him, "Of course you two know each other. Was RuPaul there too?" The insinuation that all gay people know each other simply because they all happen to own large properties in Wyoming is so bigoted, I think I hardly need to explain it. I've also witnessed on multiple occasions that when the stress of recording has become too much for Matt Lawson, he sings Charlie XCX songs off her album Pop 2 to himself in order to calm down. And whenever he does this, Joan just laughs at him. I understand this to be a common homosexual coping mechanism, so to me this mocking is not only homophobic, but ableist, and I hope the jury will take my perspective into consideration and that justice will be served. Thank you.
Oh, I wish I had not called for that final testimony. Can that be struck from the record, please?
Can that
Sadly,
not be struck by the record? I think you can
it cannot
clearly
be
see
struck.
clearly
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
what's happening here.
I think the jury has seen what they need to see. They have heard from our witnesses. They have heard from Mr. Lawson and Ms. Summers. Do we need to have any sort of closing statements, or should we leave it at where it's at?
Well, I believe that chat has redeemed Steven does a rap. And
I would like to,
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier, the individual known as Stephen DeLucre has been missing for well over a year now.
Okay,
The last known
well,
correspondence from this individual was a blog posted in November saying, Ogre Protocol is commencing. You won't hear from me for a while.
Okay. Anyway, I believe that chat has redeemed Steven does a rap, so Steven is gonna do a rap, but also it's time for voting. So if you're in the jury, which is the chat, it's your time to place whether you think Joan or Matt is innocent, and you can also tip the scales in the form of bribes to Judge Riley. So right now we have $185 in bribes to Judge Riley on behalf of Joan, and $175 to Matt. So it's anyone's court case to win right now.
Your Honor, as a final desperate plea to restore decency and to restore the sanctity of the law and to restore normalcy in this country and to uphold our values of anti-homophobia, anti-racism, anti-monogamous centrality, I would like to, on behalf of the streamer known as Stephen DeLucre, deliver a rap song which will hopefully bridge together a divided nation. Hopefully we'll bridge together the Pit Crew Antifa, Miss Green Eminem, our president, Jack White, the Association of Above Ground Pool Owners, as well as the DGSA. I'm making sure I'm getting that in the right order. This is a song of unity, and
I would say that you have until Steven is done rapping to sound off in the chat with your vote for Joan or for Matt, so you better put that in the chat right now whether you think Joan or Matt is innocent.
some of you in the chat may find this familiar. Let's take a moment. Don't give me that fucking look. I had no fucking time to prepare. What's wrong with the world, mama? People living like they ain't got no mamas.
No, that doesn't count.
I think the whole world's addicted to the drama. Only attracted to things that'll bring the trauma. Overseas, yeah, we're trying to stop terrorism, but we still got terrorists here living. In the USA, not the CIA, the Bloods and the Crips and the KKK. If you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate. And to discriminate, that only generates hate. And when you hate, then you're bound to get irate. Madness is what you demonstrate. That is exactly how anger works and operates. Man, you gotta have love just to set it straight. Take control of your mind and meditate. Let your soul gravitate to the love. Lawson is innocent. Thank you.
I believe that was a cop-out rap.
I actually
I think it was
prepared a
beautiful.
counter. I prepared a counter rap for this very moment.
Thank
if
you.
the courtroom will allow me to.
Please, Miss
proceed.
Summers.
Yes,
This
please.
court will always allow a counter rap.
Up yours.
This was first heard after it was stolen from me by Lawson and sent to RuPaul's people. And when
Allegedly.
I heard it drop on Spotify, I thought,
Allegedly.
wow, they've finally come for my last love in this world, which is songwriting. So I will read to you my original rap, Call Me Mother. Guess who's back in the house? Heels click clacking about. Fine, fresh, feminine style to 11. I'm divine, so heavenly, gentlemen sweating. It's dimes across the board, no doubt. Body like wow. Pussy about to end this drought. Titty so plentiful. Fish queen Jezebel should be criminal. Don't make sense for a bitch to be this endowed. North to the south. What does that sound? Watch me drop, drop, drop into the ground. Wait for the 4. Drop to the floor. Add up the 10s to get the score. I've been that bitch, yes, I love that drama. Fishy, feminine, up-and-comer. From the Clintons to the Obamas. I keep it tight. Now they call me mother. Jaded queen, bitch, I love that drama. Fishy, feminine, up-and-comer. From the Clintons to the Obamas. I keep it tight. Now they call me mother. Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you.
that was beautiful. And better than
If
what
that's not homophobia, I don't know.
Steven
what
delivered.
is.
It's a
So,
beautiful
have
expression of
tallied up-
divine
Dr.
feminine
Xerox,
energy.
Steven is not present currently. I don't know what you're referring to.
4,000 clout points was redeemed for Steven Does a Rap, and you did a Black Eyed Peas cover.
Anyway,
Anyway.
let's tally up the financial
have-
votes.
$185 in bribes to the Utah Abortion Fund and the Iowa Access Abortion Fund to Riley. For Joan. 185 to Matt. We're at an even tie. So it's based on what the chat has to say.
Chat, let's get
And-
hashtag Lost in Innocence project going.
I'm seeing overwhelmingly that people believe women. And that people think that
They
Joan is innocent and that Joan is serving.
Serving lies.
When someone's serving, can you deny it? Look at the
Judge
materials.
Riley,
It's just
All right,
not
we've-
giving. Maybe it's not for you.
Judge Riley, can you weigh in?
We have one vote for rats.
I mean, I'd like to say that aren't we all guilty on some level and in some way?
You certainly are,
And
Your Honor.
anyone-
You're guilty of running a kangaroo court. Thank you.
You're guilty of disrespecting me again and again and again, and disrespecting women and non-binary people, and disrespecting your own lover, Gritty, in this courtroom.
Where's the respect for my
You-
dog, who was born from one of Gritty's eggs? That's what I want to know.
So you're
I'm seeing a
apparently-
side note for rats.
Sharing Rudy's bodily
Another
autonomy.
vote for Riley in the chat. Who's not on trial and is the judge.
It's looking like Riley might
Sometimes-
take it.
Sometimes
what-
you're such a good judge that you go to
Can you
jail.
remind me the financial compensation that will be awarded during the court case today?
Out.
What?
Yeah,
Court
the
only
award
deals in
is
clout.
Clout. Is Clout for the winner.
Oh yeah.
And then if Joan wins $1 million in emotional damages.
Matt, I'll tell you this: when we walk away today, you owe me about $3.5 million, no matter what the outcome is. Just so you know.
Okay.
Cool, and
Also,
that will be paid through Venmo requests.
as-
Thank you.
Sure.
As a gesture of peace, no matter the outcome today, Lawson, woman to man, woman to homosexual, I would like to offer you a new lace front beard, as yours is fraying a little bit at the edges and you're not quite blending it the way that you used to. I know that we are on back order because of your AliExpress drop shipper for your lace front
Well,
beards
the
has
bunker is very hard
disappeared
to get to.
in the Amazon
This is a remote
rainforest. Yes,
location.
so I will have my assistant drive one over for you, okay? Because I know how important those are for you, and I just want you to feel yourself after you lose.
We have an objection in the chat. Leimana, could you please specify what you are objecting to? Thank you.
Actually, I'd like to call this court to a close before anything could be said against my client. And it looks like Joan right now is the winner, and so Riley, could you call this case?
Well, it looks like it's time to deliver the verdict. Once again, a woman will never be guilty in this court, honey. No, she will not. She will slay and serve, but she will not be guilty.
Oh,
And with that,
we have more bribes. We have more bribes.
Yeah, don't. If
keep
you're
the money
in line,
coming.
if you're in line, don't stop.
my mind can be changed.
$225 in donations and bribes for Joan. $185 for Matt. A last minute voting, which is allowed. If you're in line, stay in line.
Justice was not served today.
This
We're
is
still accepting bribes.
truly a travesty.
Disgusting. I thought we were democracy. I really did.
Democracy for women only.
Thank you, Twin Princess. If you're in line, you better work, bitch. I don't want to see this go the way of Bush Gore in 2000, and it seems like half of the jury right now, and I won't say specifically which half or which camp they're in.
Wait, we just got another bribe for Matt.
Let's go.
Another $15 for Matt. Matt's still not catching up, but it's very close.
Your Honor, it's up to
My
you.
assistant got my text.
Your Honor, it's up to you when we call this.
Well,
Your Honor, girly girl.
Have we
girly
evaluated
girl.
the crypto donations? Have we evaluated how much Bitcoin has been sent to the team?
we haven't
I
looked
would
at the
like to make sure
banana
those numbers are
coin
in check.
yet. I believe this case is closed. The polls are closed. The system worked yet again. Trust the system. Vote. Get out there. Make your voice heard. That's what we did tonight.
Mhm.
And the
Absolutely.
outcome was for justice.
I can't say I'm happy with the results of tonight, but I do believe in process, and I do believe in the sacred nature of normalcy. And with that being said, I would like to close out with another rendition of the national anthem. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah. Also,
That
I have to
sounds
say,
lovely.
if I can break my legal character for a second, I'm really happy that we were able to raise over $400 in donations to the Iowa Iowa Abortion Access Fund and the Utah Abortion Fund. So super cool.
Folks, if you're in line for the polls, as well as if you're in line to get an abortion, stay in line. We love
Mhm.
you. God bless. Clout Dynasty over. We'll be doing streams again, I guess.
Yeah.
Great.
Also, listen to Eating for Free, the podcast, recording live wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes.
Thank you.
Correct.
Eatingforfree.com.
So wait 1 second.
Mission accomplished. Clout Dynasty is back.